Right, hello everyone. My name's Will, and as you can see in the title, this video is about early PoE investments that guarantee profits mid to late league. Now, I just want to give you a pre-warning. PoE is a real-time economy, right, where trends and streamers, YouTubers, whatever influence the market, and things are always changing. So whatever I might tell you might be wrong for one league and right for another. So just make sure to do your own research before you take on what I'm going to talk about in this video. Right, so let's start to get into it. So the first thing I want you to consider is investing into crafting materials, right, in Necropolis League. So over any league, any meta, anything, right, crafting has always been profitable, will always be profitable as long as people are blissfully unaware how to craft, right? Now, the way you can use this is by understanding what crafters use, okay? So I've got 3 examples here: Hinokora's locks, fracturing orbs, and fossils and resonators. Obviously, there's a lot more that you can use, but we're going to go into these. But before I show you the trends and what I'm going to talk about, I want to show you this tool called poe-antiquary, right? Now, poe-antiquary is a tool that will show you all of these leagues' previous data, even slightly older ones. You've got Ancestor here, Trials of, so Ancestors was added. And it gives you all the previous data of anything that you want to see at any time, all the prices, whatever, okay? So when you decide what you're going to invest in yourself, okay, I'm going to give you a blueprint, but you've got to remember in PoE, if someone tells you to do something, it means it's already being done, okay? So find your own way of investing and go from there. But I'm going to give you the blueprint today of what works for me and what you should consider, right? So the first thing we're going to look at is Hinokora's locks, okay? And there's one thing I want to talk about before I tell you about Hinokora's locks, and that's the 1.5 month rule. Now, there's a trend in a lot of leagues where the 1.5 month rule is about the price of something peaking 1.5 months into the league, right? So I'll show you this in real time in the video. But we're going to start off with Hinokora's locks, okay? So obviously, Hinokora's locks are used to determine the outcomes of crafts or corruptions, right? Or any change to an item. And the good thing about Hinokora's locks is that as people become, as people start to min-max their gear and min-max their crafts, the utility for Hinokora's locks also goes up, right? So it started off at 320C, up and up and up and up, and now we're at a point where it's at almost 17,000 chaos, right? So as you can see, very good early investment for mid to late game, right? Very, very good. And obviously use poe-antiquary to look at previous data, okay? That's the first example. So the next example we've got is fracturing orbs, okay? And we're mainly looking for things that have a big impact on crafts, right? Not something small like, armor scraps or something really low end. We're looking at things that really do influence crafting materials, right? So the next thing is fracturing orbs. So when I was talking about the 1.5 month rule, as you can see, 1.5 months in, the price of fracturing orbs peaked, okay? So as you can see, start of the league, we're talking first week, was that like 1,600 chaos, went from 250 to 1,600. So obviously depend on the price of divines. And this went then up to peaking at almost 7,500 chaos. Okay, so that's like a 6 to 7 times increase on your investment, right? At least depending on when you buy it. Anyway, and then obviously it goes down over time. But this 1.5 month rule, January the 21st to January the 28th, peaked, right? So obviously people are using it to. They're using it in mainly mid-tier crafts because mid-tier crafts sell really well, quickly and for a good price. The markup on mid-tier crafts is actually really good. because people don't know how to craft really high-end gear or can't afford really high-end gear, so they settle for sort of mid-tier gear, right? Anyway, the next thing I want to show you is fossils and resonators. Now I'm going to give you one example, and that is hollow fossils, okay? So as we can see on the graph, the 1.5 month rule has come into play here. So between January 21st and January 28th of this league, Affliction, it peaked at 180 chaos each, right? Start of the league, 31C, 65, 58, 80, 80, 90, right? So you can at least, 2.5 times your investment if you bought early on, at least. And obviously it goes down over time. But this 1.5 month rule is very important. And I want you to remember that when you do your research on poe-antiquary. I also want to mention that I have a Discord server that's dedicated to making currency, and I also do coaching on there, one-to-one coaching for people who want to learn how to make more money privately. So I'll let you know. The next thing I should tell you about is beasts. So beasts are similar, where once again, we'll look at Vivid Vulture here. So that's used for extremely high-end crafts, synthesized items. We're talking, the number one fizz bows in the league, RMR gear, or Orbot gear, that sort of thing. And as you can see, it peaks 1.5 months in. It's a common theme for all of these so far, apart from Hinakora's. But obviously it's item dependent. Goes up 90C, 130, 216, goes up to this, right? To, 2,500C each, sitting at 1.5k. But this 1.5 month rule, very, very important to understand. Okay. So that's Vivid Vultures. Another crafting material. So you can see something in common here with the previous ones. The next one is Krakic Chimerals. Now, as you can see, this 1.5 month rule doesn't come into play here, right? It's peaked at the end, it's peaked at the start, and ultimately, that is due to a number of things, right? So the demand for Krakic Chimerals is always going to be a thing throughout the league. But there also is videos that are coming out from certain YouTubers using Krakic Chimerals for their strategies, right? So obviously the price has gone up artificially from these videos. So watch out for that. I'm going to make another video on how you can use streamers and YouTubers to make money, but that's a different thing. Anyway, fairly consistent price, but early league, very cheap. Try and buy these up if you can. If you're looking to just have an investment to sit there and do nothing, if you're not playing or you're busy working, whatever. The next thing I want to talk about is certain items for builds. Now, the important word here is certain. I don't want you to get mixed up with things like unique items. Certain unique items, like on bow builds, you've got Hiri's Ire, for example. Now, that's a very high demand early on because it's a unique that is very good for a bow build early on before obviously you min-max. But the problem with unique items is that once there's a certain amount in economy, there's no need for any more, right? You need one chest plate. The people who've gone for the build already have a better chest plate from farming, right? Or better unique item in general. So that doesn't work. Unique items are very strange in that way. But the first example we've got is the eye level 84 RMR small cluster. Now, once again, 1.5 month rule, peaked, goes down over time, demand goes down, people already have their builds, whatever, right? 1.5 month rule comes into play. We're talking 412, 633, 970. These are in the first few days of the league. So, it depends if you really want to sit on this or you want money to invest in your own build. But as you can see, peaked at 11,000 chaos. So, you can do the maths on that. It's a huge increase, right? It's like it's a lot. And that's a very niche item for a lot of builds. like stackers, Orobots, whatever, right? So when they're min-maxing, they need these sort of things. So keep that in mind when you're doing your research on other items. The next one I want to talk about is X passive voices. So this is any passive voices, but the example I'm going to give is 3 passive. As you can see, once again, 1.5 month rule comes into play. I really want you to remember this 1.5 month rule because it is a huge money maker. I really can't express that enough. It's really good for making money, this rule. And as you can see, starts off low, as it always does, goes into this, and it's not even like you're looking for rolls on a 3 passive voices. It's a 3 passive voices, right? There's no variables. So you're looking for one item, you buy it, you wait, right? There's no, oh, this number's good for this build and this number's whatever, right? It's always going to be useful. The price goes up, comes back down, demand goes down, right? The next one I'm going to show you is Tainted Oil. So as you can see with Tainted Oil, the price starts off early. So, the price is low early on. So we've got 7 chaos here, 22, 27, 37. And eventually, peaks. This league, obviously different for different leagues, but peaked at 1,448 chaos. Okay. So a huge increase. And then once again, as you can see, 1.5 month rule for all of these, apart from Hinakoras. You're going to maximize your profits within this range, right? Start off really low, invest in a few, maybe 1 or 2, but the return on investment here is enormous, right? But the main message I want to get across from this video is to do your own research. These are ones that I found myself. These are very easy to find using poe.ninja, or once again, poe-antiquary. Very, very good website. I'll have everything linked in the description that you need. Use these in Necropolis League. Try and find your own stuff. Try and find what people are talking about on YouTube. YouTube is an incredible tool to try and see what ways you can make money through, streamers' builds. Once again, that's another video I'm going to make. But I hope you've found what I've said interesting, or you're going to use it next league, or take some of these trends into consideration, especially the 1.5 month rule. But that's it for the video. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to share with your friends, and I will see you in the next video.